Um, Craig Casey and Jan Klein trained pretty much fully today. They trained as Glasgow as opposition, so we got a good test today, especially Craig. Craig is bouncing around the place. He's incredible rehab. And so, that extra energy and vibe on the pitch today was really noticeable. I think with a bit of luck, they could end up being involved, having some part in the game to play next week. They definitely won't this week. Jack O'Donoghue isn't back into full training yet. He's doing modified pieces or control pieces, but again, really encouraging. He's had a very positive rehab and looks like he's coming back pretty significantly earlier than expected. All the players that were named in the original Six Nations squad are rested this week, so they're on mandatory rest. Regardless of exposure or game time, that's related to, I suppose, the intense period they had over the last 2 months. So for us, they come back in early next week with view to being available for selection against Connacht. The Edinburgh game, there needs to be a significant reaction to that. From our point of view, it was the worst 40 minutes we played by quite a distance, and what concerned us was the manner of it. So the performance was around our work rate, our energy, things that we measure, we take pride in. It feeds into our physicality. That was way off, and then you throw in our scrum, which was struggling, and we got hammered in the first half. And even though the second half was an awful lot better, because we hadn't the footing through set piece, we weren't able to pull back that scoreline. So that one really, really hurt and had to sit with us for a week off. So we had a week off after that, and we've come back in and we've talked about, we've hit pause, because you have to when you have a performance like that. If we put two performances back to back, then we've got it's a concern. But when you have one performance like that, you hit pause and you look at what's next. So we didn't hold back. Really honest. Honesty is a massive, a crowning value for us. So we had a really honest review, but coming out of that was what next, and that's what we focused on for 10 days, 12 days. That's fueled everything we've done. What next? But we've got to back it up with actions on Friday night. We can say whatever we want, but we know it's all about actions in a very, very tough environment on Friday night. I suppose, first of all, big picture, Edinburgh came on the back of a bit of hurt. They were beaten by Zebra. Glasgow messed up at home where they threw away that game in the last play of the game against Ospreys with that very unusual penalty. So that's going to have hurt them, and we have to be ready for the emotion that comes with that, what comes with it physically and mentally as well. And we've embraced that. But then they've got to be prepared for the type of reaction and response that we should get from the Edinburgh game as well. So a lot of it actually has been real high level with obviously detail to underpin that, Tom. And they have, they're brilliant in what we would call the score zone near the line. They scored the most tries this season. I'd say counter-attack, they're hugely threatening and very innovative in terms of the way they play and the way they're coached. So principles become very important for us because they throw so much variation at you.
Everyone's excited. Everyone's, energy levels are up, and there's been an edge in training, and I think I just heard Cosy speaking, it's about having a response to the performance against Edinburgh. But, I love playing with this club and just being around all the lads. So, coming back here is always a pleasure. And obviously I haven't had a game since the Scarlets game. So, I'm buzzing to get back in and get back out in the pitch. Like the last few years, there's been a few huge games as well. You just have to think back to the year that we won it. They came to Thomond Park and put a big score on us, and that was a big wake-up call for us at the time. We went there in a quarter-final that year then and beat them, and then they came here last year and beat us in the semi-final. So, it's always close and it's always a tight game, and it's definitely one that both teams don't want to lose. So, there's a huge rivalry even going back further. So yeah, it is a big thing, and it's definitely something we've spoken about. Well, I think we've had a 2-week break, albeit the lads the A game last Friday, but this is a new block. This is 3 huge games away from home. It's kind of like the run we went on at the tail end 2 seasons ago. it's down to us. We're the only people that can control what will happen. So there's a huge appetite to get after it. So I think that's the main thing, to be honest, Tom.